The stars had never looked so threatening. Admiral Kang Do-hyun stood on the observation deck of Luna Station, watching the massive alien ships move closer to Earth. Their hulls were dark gray metal that seemed to eat light. Each ship was bigger than any city on Earth. "Sir, we're getting another message from the alien fleet," said Lieutenant Park from the communication station. Her voice shook a little. Kang turned away from the window. The Lunar Defense Station felt small and weak compared to what was coming toward them. "Put it on the main screen." The face that appeared was not human. It had 4 eyes arranged in a square pattern on its head. Its skin looked like rough stone. When it spoke, the translator made its voice sound cold and empty. "I am General Thexmore of the Vorthak Empire. We speak for the Galactic Dominion. Your species has been chosen for integration into our civilization. You have 72 hours to surrender all military forces and submit to our authority. Refuse, and your planet will be destroyed." The message ended. The bridge was quiet except for the soft hum of computers. "Integration," Kang said quietly. "They make it sound nice, but they mean slavery." Captain Lee Garam stepped forward. She commanded the flagship Soul's Pride, the most powerful ship in Earth's fleet. "Admiral, our scouts report 12 different alien species in that fleet. Over 3,000 ships. We have maybe 200 vessels that could fight them." Kang nodded. He had seen the reports. Earth's navy was strong for a single planet, but these aliens controlled most of the galaxy. They had technology humans could barely understand. "What about the demonstration they promised?" asked Commander Kim from Tactical. As if answering his question, the main screen lit up with a new image. One of the smaller alien ships was moving toward Mars. The red planet hung in space like a bloody eye. Near it, the large moon Phobos spun slowly. "All stations watch and record," Kang ordered. The alien ship stopped near Phobos. A beam of pure white light shot out from its front. Where the beam touched the moon, matter simply disappeared. Not destroyed or blown apart, it just stopped existing. In less than 10 seconds, Phobos was gone. Not even dust remained. The bridge crew stared in shock. Phobos had been solid rock, 27 kilometers across. Now there was nothing. "Message from Earth Command," reported Lieutenant Park. "President Park Soo-jin wants to speak with you immediately." The president's face appeared on a smaller screen. She looked tired and worried, but her voice was steady. "Admiral, I suppose you saw that display?" "Yes, ma'am. They can destroy matter at the atomic level. Our shields and armor would be useless. The World Council is meeting now. Some members want to surrender. They say fighting would be suicide." President Park paused. "What do you think, Admiral?" Kang looked out at the alien fleet again. So many ships. So much power. Any sane person would surrender. But something deep inside him rebelled at the idea. "Ma'am, my grandfather fought the Japanese when they invaded Korea. My father fought in the Reunification War. They faced impossible odds too, but they never gave up. This is different, Admiral. This isn't just our country or even our planet. This is our species." "Yes, ma'am. And some things are worth dying for. Freedom is one of them." President Park was quiet for a moment. "The aliens say they rule over 200 worlds. They make it sound peaceful. Maybe submission would be better than extinction." Captain Lee stepped closer to the screen. "Madam President, I've studied the alien transmissions. They use 12 different species in their fleet, but only the Vorthak give orders. The others are servants. When they say integration, they mean we become slaves like the rest. Slaves who are alive, said a new voice. Counselor Wong appeared on the screen next to the president. Better than dead heroes. Kang felt anger rise in his chest. Counselor, respectfully, you're wrong. They won't just enslave us, they'll break us, change us, make us forget what it means to be human. In 50 years, our children won't even remember that we were once free. You don't know that, Wong argued. Look at their fleet. Kang pointed toward the window. 12 species, but they all serve the Vorthak. When did you last see a Vorthak take orders from anyone else? Never, because the others are broken. They've forgotten how to fight back. President Park was quiet for a long time. Finally, she spoke. Admiral, if we fight, what are our chances? Honestly, almost zero. But almost zero is not zero. And if we surrender, then we lose everything that makes us human. Not our bodies, ma'am, our souls. Another message came from the alien fleet. This time it was broadcast to every screen on Earth and in space. The stone-faced General Thexmore appeared again. Humans of Earth, we have shown you our power. We do not wish to destroy you. You are a young species with potential. Under our guidance, you can become part of something greater than your small world. We offer you peace, security, and purpose. All we ask is your submission to the natural order of the galaxy. The message continued. We know your history. You are violent and chaotic. You fight each other over resources and ideas. We will end this suffering. Under our rule, there will be no more war on Earth, no more hunger, no more division, only harmony and service to the greater good. 72 hours, the alien general repeated. Choose wisely. The transmission ended. The bridge was silent again. Captain Lee spoke first. They make it sound reasonable. Peace and security, no more war. At the cost of everything we are, Kang replied. They've studied us. They know what words to use. But look at the facts. 12 species serve them. Did they all choose this willingly? Or were they conquered and broken? Sir, called out Lieutenant Park. Priority message from the Kuiper Belt Monitoring Station. The Kuiper Belt? What could they want at a time like this? They say it's urgent. Sir, something about unusual energy readings. Kang frowned. The Kuiper Belt was far beyond Pluto, at the edge of the solar system. Nothing important ever happened there. Just ice and rock and old mining stations. Tell them we're busy. We have bigger problems right now. Sir, they insist. They say it's related to the alien fleet. Put them through. A young technician appeared on screen. He looked excited and scared at the same time. Admiral, we're detecting massive power sources activating throughout the belt. Hundreds of them. Maybe thousands. Power sources? What kind? Unknown, sir. The signatures are like nothing in our databases. They've been dormant, but they started waking up exactly when the aliens arrived. Kang stared at the screen. This made no sense. The Kuiper Belt was empty except for automated mining platforms and research stations. Keep monitoring and report any changes, he ordered. We have enough mysteries right now. As the technician signed off, Kang turned back to President Park. Ma'am, I need to prepare our fleets. Whatever we decide, we need to be ready. Do it, Admiral. And Admiral, I've made my decision. Earth bows to no one. The connection ended. Around him, his crew began preparing for what might be humanity's last battle. In the cold darkness of the Kuiper Belt, ancient systems continued to wake up. systems that had been waiting for this day for a very long time. The answer came exactly 72 hours later. Every communication channel in the solar system carried the same message at the same time. President Park Soo-jin's voice was calm and clear. To the Galactic Dominion and the Vorthak Empire, this is Earth's official response to your ultimatum. We reject your offer of slavery disguised as peace. We reject your demand for submission. Earth has one answer for you. No. We will not kneel. We will not serve. We will not surrender. If you want our world, you will have to take it from our cold, dead hands. The message repeated in 47 different languages, including the alien, ones that Earth's computers had learned from intercepted transmissions. On the bridge of the Vorthak command ship, General Thexmore stared at the communication screen in disbelief. His 4 eyes blinked in sequence, a sign of extreme confusion among his people. "They refuse?" he asked his aide. "A primitive species refuses the generous offer of the Galactic Dominion?" "Yes, General. They seem to prefer death to integration." Thexmore had conquered 37 worlds. Some had fought briefly before surrendering. Others had given up immediately when they saw the size of his fleet. None had ever rejected the ultimatum completely. "This is madness," he muttered. "They have maybe 200 ships. We have 3,000. They cannot even travel faster than light without our help. How can they think they can fight us?" "Perhaps they do not understand the situation, General. Should we demonstrate our power again? No. They saw what we did to their moon. They understand." Thexmore stood up from his command chair. "Begin the attack. Destroy their orbital defenses first. Leave the planet intact. We will need the survivors to understand what happens when you defy the Dominion." Across the solar system, Admiral Kang Do-hyun received reports from his scattered fleet. Earth ships were hiding behind asteroids, moons, and space stations. They could not match the aliens in direct battle, but humans had learned many tricks. During centuries of war, all units, this is Admiral Kang, execute Operation Hornet's Nest. Hit them fast, hit them hard, and disappear before they can respond. Make them pay for every meter of space. Captain Lee Garam commanded the Soul's Pride from behind the large asteroid Ceres. Her ship was Earth's most advanced, but it looked like a toy compared to the alien vessels. "Helm, take us around the asteroid's north pole. Weapons. Target there. Lead ship's engines. One shot, then we run. Ma'am, their shields are too strong. Our weapons can't penetrate them." Lee smiled grimly. That's what Dr. Choi said. But she also found something interesting about those shields. Dr. Choi Hai-wan had spent the last 3 days studying every piece of alien technology they could detect. She was Earth's best expert on alien life, and now she was their best hope for survival. "Captain," Dr. Choi's voice came over the communication system from her laboratory on Luna Station. "I've confirmed my theory. Their shields use quantum field generators. Very advanced, but they have a weakness. The fields become unstable when exposed to specific gravitational frequencies. In simple words, Doctor, fly close to a large mass, an asteroid or moon, and fire your weapons at the same time. The gravitational field will disrupt their shields for a few seconds." It was not much, but it was something. Captain Lee ordered her ship forward. The Soul's Pride came around Ceres at full speed, its weapons charging. The alien ships detected them immediately. Energy beams lashed out, but Lee's pilot was ready. The ship danced between the shots, using Ceres' gravity to change direction. "Quickly, fire!" Lee commanded. The Soul's Pride fired every weapon it had. For just a moment, the gravitational field around Ceres interfered with the alien shields. Human missiles and energy beams struck the enemy ship's engines. Explosions bloomed along its hull. "Direct hit! Enemy ship is damaged! Now run!" Lee ordered. Her ship disappeared behind Ceres again before the aliens could respond, across the solar system. Other human ships were trying the same tactic. Captain Yoon Tae-sik led a squadron of destroyers in a hit-and-run attack near Jupiter. Lieutenant Commander Kim Ji-woo used the asteroid belt to hide her strike force. Some attacks worked. The aliens lost several ships to the unexpected tactics. But for every alien ship damaged, Earth lost 3. The humans were brave and clever, but they were still badly outnumbered. General Thexamore watched the tactical display with growing anger. These primitive creatures were actually hurting his fleet. Not much, but enough to be annoying. "How are they penetrating our shields?" he demanded. "Unknown, General. Our scientists are studying the attack patterns. Study faster, and increase the attack. I want their orbital defenses destroyed within 12 hours. The battle raged around Earth's moon. Luna Station had the strongest weapons and shields in the human fleet. Admiral Kang coordinated the defense from its command center, but he could see they were losing. "Sir, we've lost contact with the Mars garrison. The aliens have taken control of the orbital shipyards." "What about the Jupiter mining stations?" "Under attack. They're requesting immediate evacuation." Kang looked at the tactical display. Red symbols showed alien ships advancing on all fronts. Blue symbols showed human forces retreating or destroyed. The situation was hopeless. "Admiral," called Dr. Choi from her laboratory, "I have more information about the alien technology. It's not just their shields that use quantum fields, their engines, their weapons, their communication systems. Everything depends on quantum field manipulation." "What does that mean for us?" "If we could generate a large enough gravitational distortion, we could disrupt all their systems at once, but it would require a massive amount of energy. More than our entire fleet could produce." Kang thought about this. "What about a black hole? Or a neutron star?" "The nearest black hole is light years away, and we don't have the technology to create artificial gravity fields of that magnitude. Keep working on it, Doctor. There has to be a way." On Earth's surface, people watched the battle through telescopes and satellite feeds. They could see the flashes of weapons fire in space. They could see their defenders fighting and dying. In Seoul, an old man stood on his apartment balcony with his granddaughter. She was 7 years old and did not really understand what was happening. "Grandfather, why are the aliens angry at us?" "They're not angry, little one. They just want to control us. They want us to obey them without question." "But why don't we just do what they say? Then they won't hurt us." The old man was quiet for a moment. "Do you remember the story I told you about the tiger and the rabbit?" "Yes." "The tiger said he would protect the rabbit if the rabbit became his servant. But the rabbit said no." "And what happened?" "The rabbit ran away and hid. The tiger chased him, but the rabbit was too smart. He tricked the tiger and escaped. That's right. Sometimes, little one, it's better to be a free rabbit than a pet rabbit in a cage." The little girl thought about this. "Are we the rabbits, grandfather?" "Yes, we are. And we're going to be very clever rabbits." In space, the battle continued. Human ships darted in and out of cover, striking at the aliens whenever they could. But there were too many enemy ships and too few human ones. Captain Song Mina commanded a stealth destroyer called the Ghost of Busan. Her ship was designed to be invisible to most sensors. She had been watching the alien fleet for hours, looking for weaknesses. "Captain," her sensor officer reported quietly, I'm detecting something strange in the Kuiper Belt. Multiple energy sources are activating. Big ones. The Kuiper Belt? There's nothing out there but ice and rocks. That's what I thought, ma'am, but these readings are off the charts. Whatever's out there, it's been hidden until now. Song studied the sensor data. The readings made no sense. The energy signatures were enormous, but they were coming from empty space. Send this data to Admiral Kang immediately. Mark it Priority 1. Yes, ma'am, as the Ghost of Busan transmitted its report. Something was indeed stirring in the darkness beyond Pluto. Ancient systems that had slept for decades were finally waking up. Systems that had been built in secret, waiting for this exact moment. The war for Earth had begun, but neither side knew that the real battle was yet to come. Earth's defense fleet was dying. One by one, Admiral Kang watched his ships disappear from the tactical display. The alien fleet pressed closer to Earth with each passing hour. "Sir, we've lost the Beijing and the Lagos," reported Lieutenant Park. Her voice was steady, but Kang could see the tears in her eyes. "That's 18 ships destroyed in the last 4 hours. What about the evacuation of Luna Station? Civilian sections are clear, sir, but we still have 300 military personnel running essential systems." Kang nodded. They had to hold Luna Station as long as possible. It was the last major defense between the aliens and Earth itself. "Admiral," called Commander Kim from the sensor station. "I'm getting those strange readings from the Kuiper Belt again. Whatever's out there, it's getting stronger." "Show me." The main screen displayed a map of the solar system. Earth sat in the center, surrounded by the red dots of enemy ships. But at the very edge, beyond Pluto, new blue dots were appearing. Hundreds of them. "What am I looking at?" Kang asked. "Unknown contacts, sir. They're not broadcasting any identification. Signals, but they're big. Some of them are as large as the alien capital ships." Captain Lee's voice crackled over the communication system from the Soul's Pride. "Admiral, my sensors are picking up the same thing. These contacts are moving toward the inner system. Fast." "Moving? How fast?" "Faster than anything we've ever built, sir. They'll reach Jupiter's orbit in 6 hours. Kang stared at the display. New ships appearing from nowhere, moving at impossible speeds. It made no sense. "Could they be more aliens?" asked Commander Kim. "No," said Dr. Choi from her laboratory. "I've been monitoring their energy signatures. They're different from the Vorthak technology. The power sources are similar to ours, but much more advanced." "Similar to ours? How is that possible?" "I don't know, Admiral. But there's something else. These ships are transmitting on old Earth military frequencies. Very old." Lieutenant Commander Kim Ji-woo was on patrol duty near the asteroid belt when she first saw them. Her ship, the Incheon's Fury, had been hiding behind a large asteroid for 3 hours. Her crew was exhausted from constant alerts. "Ma'am," whispered her sensor operator. "Contact bearing 270. Range 5,000 kilometers. Alien? No, ma'am. The signature is strange. It's definitely not Vorthak technology." Kim looked through her ship's telescope. At first, she saw nothing but stars. Then something moved across her field of view, something impossible. The ship was completely black. Not painted black, but black like the space between stars. It seemed to absorb light instead of reflecting it. She could only see its outline because it blocked the stars behind it. "My God," she whispered. "How big is that thing?" 1,200 meters long, ma'am. Twice the size of our largest battleship." "Any response to our hails?" No, ma'am. But it's scanning us. I can feel the sensor beams. As Kim watched, more black shapes moved past her position. Ships of different sizes, all painted with the same light-eating darkness. They moved in perfect formation, like a school of fish or a flock of birds. "Get me Admiral Kang immediately," Kim ordered. Captain Song-min Ah was closer to the edge of the solar system when the Black Fleet fully revealed itself. Her stealth destroyer, the Ghost of Busan, had been investigating the energy readings for 2 days. "Captain," her communications officer called out, "we're being hailed, audio only." "Put it through." The voice that came through the speakers was human, but there was something strange about it. It sounded too perfect, too clear. "This is Fleet Admiral Nam Ki-jun of the Eternal Vigil. Identify yourself." Song blinked in surprise. "Fleet Admiral Nam? Sir, this is Captain Song-min Ah, commanding the Ghost of Busan. I thought you were dead, sir." There was a pause. "Captain Song, I am dead. I died 3 years ago of cancer. But death is no longer the end of service for humanity's defenders." "Sir, I don't understand." "You will. Is Admiral Kang Do-hyun still in command of Earth's defense?" "Yes." "Sir, he's at Luna Station." "Good. Tell him the Black Armada is ready to execute Protocol 7. He'll understand." The transmission ended. Song stared at the communication console in confusion. Admiral Nam had been Earth's greatest naval commander. She had attended his funeral. How could he be alive? And what was the Black Armada? On Luna Station, Admiral. Kang received Song's message with shock. Protocol 7 was a legend, a ghost story whispered among military officers. It was supposed to be humanity's ultimate backup plan, but most people thought it was just a myth. "Dr. Choi," Kang called over the intercom, "I need you to access the classified archives. Look for any files on Project Eternal Watch or the Black Armada." "Sir, I don't have clearance for those files. I'm giving you emergency authorization. Use my command codes." 20 minutes later, Dr. Choi's voice came back over the intercom. She sounded shocked. "Admiral, I found the files. But, sir, these records go back over 200 years. Project Eternal Watch was started in 2156. They've been building ships in secret facilities throughout the Kuiper Belt." "What kind of ships?" "The most advanced vessels ever designed. They used technology that was considered too dangerous for normal use, weapons that could tear holes in space itself, engines that could bend gravity. And, sir, there's something else." "What?" "The crews. The ships are crewed by uploaded human consciousness, the minds of history's greatest military leaders, preserved after death and trained for this exact situation." Kang felt a chill run down his spine. "The ghosts of our greatest warriors." "Yes, sir." "Led by Admiral Nam Ki-jun. He volunteered for the consciousness transfer program before his death. The files say he's been training in virtual environments for 3 years, preparing for an alien invasion." The pieces suddenly fit together. The strange energy readings, ships appearing from nowhere. The Black Armada had been waiting in the cold darkness of the Kuiper Belt, hidden among asteroids and ice chunks, waiting for the day Earth would need its deadliest defenders. "Admiral," Lieutenant Park called out urgently, "the black ships are accelerating toward the alien fleet. I count over 2,000 vessels." On the main screen, the tactical display showed a river of darkness flowing toward Earth. The black ships moved with impossible coordination, their formations perfect and beautiful. General Thexmore on the Vorthak command ship saw them coming. At first he was not concerned. More primitive human ships would just mean more targets to destroy. General, his tactical officer reported. The new human vessels are not responding to our scanner sweeps. Our sensors cannot penetrate their hulls. Stealth technology. Primitive but annoying. Target them with mass driver cannons. The Vorthak. Fleet fired. Streams of physical projectiles shot toward the black ships at tremendous speed. The weapons that had destroyed human ships with single hits. But something impossible happened. The black ships didn't dodge. They didn't raise shields. The projectiles simply passed through them as if they weren't there. What just happened? Thexmore demanded. Unknown, General. The projectiles pass through their hulls without causing damage. It's as if they exist in a different dimension. That's impossible. Try energy weapons. Beams of pure plasma lanced out toward the Black Fleet. Again, the weapons passed harmlessly through their targets. General, the tactical officer's voice was shaking now. I don't think those are normal ships. On Luna Station, Admiral Kang watched in amazement as the Black Armada approached the alien fleet. His communication system crackled to life. Admiral Kang, this is Fleet Admiral Nam Ki-jun. We are ready to engage the enemy. All living ships are ordered to withdraw to safe distance. What you are about to see has never been used in actual combat. Admiral Nam, what exactly are you? We are humanity's insurance policy. We are the uploaded minds of every great military leader who ever lived, given new bodies made of metal and energy. We are the ghosts of war itself, and we have been waiting for this day. The first black ship reached the alien fleet. As Kang watched, it seemed to flicker in and out of existence. One moment it was there, the next it was inside an alien battleship. A flash of light, and the alien ship exploded from within. My God, whispered Dr. Choi. They can phase through matter. Not just that, Kang realized. They can become solid. Again, once they're inside enemy ships. More black ships reached the alien fleet. They moved like ghosts, appearing inside enemy vessels and destroying them from within. The Vorthak fleet, which had seemed unstoppable minutes before, was being torn apart by an enemy they couldn't touch. Fleet Admiral Nam, Kang transmitted. What are your orders for the living fleet? Stay back and watch, Admiral. Today the dead fight for the living. Today, humanity shows the galaxy what we're really capable of. In the darkness of space, the Black Armada began its work. 2 centuries of preparation, 2 centuries of waiting, finally came to an end. The galaxy was about to learn why humanity was feared even in death. The eternal vigil emerged from the darkness like death itself. 1,200 meters of impossible black metal, its hull covered with names etched in silver. Admiral Kang could read some of them through his telescope. Martinez, Singh, O'Brien, Chen, Petrov. Thousands of names, millions of names. Every human who ever died in war, Admiral Nam's voice explained over the communication channel. We carry their memory, we carry their sacrifice, and today we carry their vengeance. The flagship of the Black Armada was massive, but it moved like a living thing. It flowed through space, changing direction without using engines that anyone could see. Around it, the rest of the fleet spread out in formations that seemed impossible for normal ships. Captain Lee Garam watched from the Soul's Pride as black destroyers phased through alien battleships like they were made of mist. Each time a black ship entered an enemy vessel, explosions bloomed from within. The aliens were dying by the hundreds. Admiral, she transmitted to Luna Station. How is this possible? How can they move through solid matter? Quantum phase manipulation, Dr. Choi answered from her laboratory. They can shift their molecular structure to exist between dimensions. It's technology we theorized about but never thought possible. Until now, Admiral Nam's voice cut in. Dr. Choi, you're partially correct, but it's more than just phase manipulation. We exist in a state between life and death, between matter and energy. The uploaded human consciousness can control quantum fields in ways living minds cannot. General Thexmore was screaming orders on his command ship. Half his fleet was already destroyed, and his weapons couldn't even touch the enemy. How can we fight ghosts? His tactical officer asked in panic. They're not ghosts, Thexmore growled. They're machines. Find their weakness. But the Vorthak commander was wrong. The Black Armada was something new, something that had never existed before in the galaxy. The uploaded minds of Earth's greatest military leaders, given bodies of quantum metal and powered by the fury of the human spirit. Captain Bae Su-min commanded the Soul's Vengeance, a quantum dreadnought that existed in 17 different dimensions at once. She had died in the Second Mars War, but her consciousness lived on in systems more advanced than anything the living world had ever seen. Captain Bae, to all Black Fleet units. Her voice echoed across quantum communication channels that the aliens couldn't intercept. Execute Pattern Delta 7. Let's show them how Earth's children dance. The black ships suddenly scattered in all directions. They moved in patterns that seemed random, but were actually based on ancient human military tactics. Techniques learned in the trenches of World War I, perfected in the space battles around Jupiter, and now enhanced by minds that could think faster than any living brain. Captain Oh Sung-ho's ship, the Knight's Edge, appeared inside the alien command vessel's bridge. For a split second, he became solid again. The uploaded consciousness of Korea's greatest fighter pilot looked directly at General Thexmore. Greetings from Earth, Oh said calmly. Then, his ship phased out, leaving behind a quantum bomb that tore the alien bridge apart. But Thexmore had escape pods. The Vorthak general ejected just before his ship exploded, his pod racing toward the outer edge of the solar system. Pursue and destroy all fleeing vessels, Admiral Nam ordered. None of them can be allowed to report our capabilities to the greater galaxy. Not yet. The black ships moved faster than light itself, phasing through normal space-time to catch the escaping aliens. Each enemy vessel was systematically destroyed, but not before the uploaded minds studied their technology, their tactics, and most importantly, their psychology. On Luna Station, Admiral Kang watched the slaughter with mixed feelings. The aliens had come to enslave humanity, and they deserved to be destroyed. But the efficiency of the Black Armada was terrifying even to its allies. Admiral Nam, he transmitted, what happens after this? What happens when the rest of the galaxy learns about you? That depends on what the rest of the galaxy has done, Admiral Kang. We've been monitoring galactic communications for 2 centuries. We know about the slave worlds. We know about the species that have been conquered and broken. The Vorthak Empire is just one of many that need to be dealt with. Dr. Choi's voice cut into the conversation. Sir, I'm detecting massive energy buildups throughout the Black Fleet. They're preparing something big. Admiral Nam, what are you planning? A demonstration, Admiral Kang. The aliens sent a message to their homeworlds before we destroyed their communication ships. The Galactic Dominion will send more fleets to investigate. They need to understand what they're facing. The Eternal Vigil moved toward the center of what had been the alien fleet. Wreckage floated everywhere. Twisted metal, escape pods, and the bodies of creatures who had thought themselves unstoppable. All Black Fleet units, Admiral Nam transmitted. Prepare the reality anchor. Around the flagship, a dozen black ships moved into a perfect circle. Each ship extended strange devices that looked like crystalline spears. Energy began to flow between them, creating a web of power that made space itself glow. "What's a reality anchor?" Admiral Kang asked. "Something that should not exist," Dr. Choi said quietly. "The theoretical mathematics suggest it could create a pocket of space where the laws of physics can be rewritten." The energy web around the black ships grew brighter. Space began to bend and twist. Stars shifted position in the sky. Gravity fluctuated wildly. And then, in the center of the web, something impossible happened. A new star was born, not a normal star. This one burned with cold fire that gave off no heat. It was a star made of pure quantum energy, held together by the will of uploaded human minds. "Let the galaxy look at our sun," Admiral Nam said. "Let them see what humanity can create when pushed to the edge. This star will burn for 1,000 years, and every species in this part of the galaxy will see it. They will remember that Earth refused to kneel." The cold star pulsed with energy. Its light reached Earth within minutes, turning the sky a strange blue color that had never been seen before. General Ryu Haijin's consciousness spoke from the quantum battleship Final Justice. He had been Earth's greatest tactician during the Third World War. "Fleet Admiral, I'm receiving transmissions from our deep space monitoring stations. The Galactic Dominion is mobilizing response fleets from 12 different systems." "How many ships?" "Estimated 50,000 vessels, sir. They're taking this seriously." "Good. Let them come. We've had 2 centuries to prepare for this moment. Every battle simulation, every tactical scenario, every possible enemy strategy has been studied and countered." Captain Song Mina, still watching from the Ghost of Busan, finally understood what she was seeing. The Black Armada wasn't just a military force. It was humanity's answer to the question that had haunted them since first looking at the stars. What happens when we meet? Something stronger than us? The answer was simple. We become stronger than death itself. "Admiral Kang," Admiral Nam transmitted. "The living fleet is ordered to return to Earth, repair and rearm. The real war is about to begin." "What about you?" "We go hunting. There are slave worlds that need liberation. There are tyrants that need judgment. The galaxy has had thousands of years to learn how to oppress others. It's time they learned what happens when humans fight back." The Black Armada began to move away from Earth. 2,000 ships of impossible technology, crewed by the greatest military minds in human history. They moved in perfect formation toward the edge of the solar system. As they passed Pluto, each ship fired a single shot into space. The combined energy beams created a message in letters light years tall, written across the cosmos for all to see. Earth remembers. Earth judges. Earth comes. The Black Fleet disappeared into the darkness between stars, leaving behind only their cold sun and the promise of war. For the first time in galactic history, the hunters had become the hunted, and somewhere in the vast network of uploaded minds that made up the Black Armada, the consciousness of Dr. Han Kyung-soo, the original architect of Project Eternal Watch, smiled. His work was finally beginning. Arcturus Station was the size of a small moon. Built around the captured temple ship of the extinct Zellan civilization, it served as the Dominion's most important military base. Factories, shipyards, slave processing centers, and command bunkers spread across its surface like a metal cancer. Admiral Nam studied the station through the Eternal Vigil's quantum sensors. Around the station, 5,000 Dominion ships waited in defensive formations. It was the largest fleet ever assembled by the galaxy's oppressors. "Commander Veltar," he transmitted to the Zellan's Revenge, "you know this station better than anyone. What do you recommend?" The uploaded Zellan consciousness responded immediately. His voice carried the pain of watching his species die, but also the cold fury of perfect revenge. "Fleet Admiral, the temple ship at the station's core contains a quantum resonance chamber. My people built it to harmonize the life energy of entire star systems. The Dominion has been using it to power their weapons, but if we can reach it, we can reverse the process." "What would that do?" "It would turn every Dominion ship in the system into quantum energy. Their own power sources would destroy them from within." Admiral Nam felt something that his uploaded consciousness interpreted as satisfaction. "And how do we reach the core?" "The temple ship is protected by 17 layers of shields and armor, but there's a maintenance tunnel that connects to the quantum chamber. It's heavily guarded, but a small team might be able to phase through the defenses." Captain Oh Seung-ho's voice cut into the conversation from the night's edge. "Admiral, I volunteer to lead the infiltration team. My ship is the fastest in the fleet." "Denied, Captain. I need you coordinating the main assault. I'll handle the infiltration personally." The battle began with a move the Dominion had never seen before. Instead of attacking the station directly, the Black Armada split into 1,000 different directions. Each ship became dozens of smaller vessels, creating a cloud of targets too numerous to track. General Thexmore watched from his command bunker as his sensors tried to lock onto the attackers. "How many ships are there?" "Sensors show..." "Sir, this is impossible. We're reading over 50,000 individual contacts. That can't be right. They only had 3,000 ships. Sir, each of their ships appears to be dividing into multiple, smaller vessels. They're everywhere." The Dominion fleet opened fire, but their weapons found only empty space. The quantum vessels of the Black Armada phased in and out of existence, striking at weak points and disappearing before the defenders could respond. Captain Bae Su-min materialized the Soul's Vengeance inside a Dominion battleship's engine room. Her quantum dreadnought became solid just long enough to plant a resonance bomb, then phased out as the enemy ship tore itself apart. 17 ships destroyed, she reported calmly. Moving to next target. Across the battle, similar scenes played, out hundreds of times. The Black Armada fought like ghosts, like nightmares, like the vengeful spirits of every being who had ever died in chains. Commander Veltar led a squadron of mixed human and alien consciousness vessels against the station's outer defenses. His Zellan knowledge combined with human tactics created strategies the Dominion couldn't counter. "Phase through the shield generators," he ordered his wing. "Destroy them from inside. Show them how the dead fight for the living." While the main battle raged, Admiral Nam guided the Eternal Vigil toward the station's core. His flagship was too large for the maintenance tunnel, so he transferred his consciousness into a smaller infiltration vessel. The tunnel was exactly as Commander Veltar had described. Narrow, heavily defended, and filled with automated weapons, designed to stop any intruder. But the defenses had been built to stop living beings, not quantum ghosts. Admiral Nam phased through laser grids, pulse cannons, and force fields. His consciousness rode in a ship no larger than a fighter, but powered by the combined will of humanity's greatest naval commander. "Fleet Admiral," General Rao transmitted from the main battle. "Dominion reinforcements are arriving. 3 more. Fleets, approximately 15,000 ships total. Hold them off, General. I'm almost at the temple core. Sir, at these odds, we might not be able to maintain the diversion much longer. Then we'd better finish this quickly. The temple core was beautiful. The Zelen had built it from crystalline structures that sang with harmonic frequencies. The quantum resonance chamber pulsed with the stored life energy of 1 billion souls, all the beings who had died as slaves in Dominion factories. Admiral Nam materialized his small ship inside the chamber. For a moment he could feel the presence of every consciousness that had been absorbed into the station's power grid. They were still there, trapped in quantum energy, crying out for justice. "I hear you," he said quietly, "and I will set you free." The upload process was different this time. Instead of transferring a single consciousness into a quantum vessel, Admiral Nam opened the Eternal Vigil's memory banks to the temple core. Every stored soul, every trapped mind, every victim of Dominion cruelty was offered the same choice: join. The Black Armada, fight back, make the oppressors pay. The response was overwhelming. 1 billion consciousness uploaded simultaneously, their combined fury channeled through the temple's quantum resonance chamber. The station's power grid overloaded, energy cascaded through every Dominion ship in the system. For a moment, the quantum field around Arcturus Station turned pure white. Then, one by one, the Dominion ships began to explode, not from external damage, but from their own power sources turning against them. "My God," whispered Captain Song Minna from the Ghost of Busan, "they're all dying. 20,000 Dominion ships destroyed in 30 seconds. The largest military defeat in galactic history, accomplished not by superior firepower, but by the righteous fury of the dead. But the victory came with a cost." The quantum resonance chamber's overload sent a shock wave through space-time itself. The wave spread outward at faster-than-light speed, carrying a message that every species in the galaxy could understand. The dead were fighting back. On 1,000 different worlds, in 1,000,000 different slave camps, the oppressed looked up at the sky and saw something impossible. The stars themselves were rearranging, forming words in every known language. "We are the Black Armada. We are the vengeance of the dead. We come for all who oppress others." In the capital city of the Vorthak Empire, the High Command gathered. In emergency session, their most powerful fleet had been destroyed by an enemy that shouldn't exist. "How do we fight the dead?" asked War Leader Kexmore. "We can't," replied Chief Strategist Vordan. "They have no home world to destroy, no population to threaten, no supply lines to cut. They exist in a state between matter and energy. They are immune to our weapons and our threats." "Then what do you recommend?" "Negotiation, before they decide that our entire species deserves to die." But negotiation was no longer an option. The Black Armada had tasted victory at Arcturus Station, and now it numbered in the millions. Every freed slave world contributed its dead heroes to the growing fleet. Every liberated consciousness brought new knowledge of Dominion weaknesses. Admiral Nam, now commanding a fleet beyond counting, transmitted a message to every inhabited world in the galaxy. "To all species of the Galactic Dominion, this is Fleet Admiral Nam Ki-jun of Earth's Black Armada. We offer you one choice, and you will make it quickly. Release your slaves, abandon your oppression of others, and submit to judgment for your crimes, or face the consequences of defying the dead. You have 72 hours to decide, the same amount of time you gave Earth. The hunt had begun, and this time, the predators were the ghosts of everyone who had ever died fighting for freedom. In the depths of space, New shipyards were already building vessels for the growing army of the dead. Each ship was inscribed with a simple promise: justice delayed is not justice denied. It is justice empowered by death itself. The galaxy would never be the same. The 72 hours passed in chaos. Across the galaxy, the galactic dominion fractured as member species desperately tried to distance themselves from the Vorthak Empire. Some released their slaves immediately. Others tried to hide their crimes. A few prepared for war. On the trading world of Nexus Prime, the Grand Council met in emergency session. Representatives from hundreds of species argued over how to respond to Earth's ultimatum. "The humans are demanding we submit to judgment," declared Councillor Zixtar. "They want to put entire civilizations on trial for crimes we actually committed," pointed out Representative Kalen of the Orvani Republic. "My species stopped using slave labor 50 years ago. We have nothing to fear from their judgment." "This isn't about guilt or innocence," snarled War Leader Thundar of the Grex Empire. "This is about a primitive species trying to impose their will on the entire galaxy. We cannot allow it." But even as the politicians argued, the Black Armada was already moving. Admiral Ko Youngsik, whose consciousness commanded the final justice, led a strike force toward the Grex home system. Intelligence gathered from Liberated. Slaves had revealed the true horror of Grex society. "All units, this is Admiral Ko," he transmitted to his fleet. "Target intelligence confirms that the Grex Empire operates the largest slave-breeding programs in the galaxy. They don't just enslave captured populations, they breed sentient beings like livestock." Captain John Myung, commanding the newly built Hammer of Soul, felt her uploaded consciousness burn with fury. She had died defending civilians during the Martian corporate wars, and the idea of breeding people as property was beyond her ability to forgive. "Admiral, my sensors detect approximately 3 billion slaves on the planet below. Recommendation? Standard liberation protocol with extreme prejudice. Any Grex who resist will be terminated. Any who cooperate will be judged based on their individual actions. Any who try to harm slaves during the liberation will be hunted down personally by me." The attack on the Grex home world was swift and merciless. Black Armada ships phased through the planet's defenses like they weren't there. Slave camps were liberated within hours. Grex overseers found themselves facing the uploaded consciousness of every being who had ever died in chains. War Leader Thundar tried to escape in his personal ship, but Captain John materialized the Hammer of Soul directly in his path. "War Leader Thundar," her voice came over his communication system. "You are charged with crimes against sentient life. How do you plead?" "I plead for mercy. We were only following the natural order. The strong rule the weak." "The natural order," Captain John repeated coldly. "The same excuse used by every tyrant in history. Your plea is noted and rejected." The Hammer of Soul became solid for exactly 1 second. That was enough to fire a quantum torpedo that erased Thundar's ship from existence. 3 star systems away, the Thermal Republic was making a very different choice. Representative Mordun stood before his people's parliament, holding a list of every slave his species had ever owned. "Fellow citizens," he announced, "the Black Armada demands judgment for our crimes. I say we give it to them, not because we fear them, but because we should have judged ourselves long ago." The Thermal Republic released all their slaves, opened their records to inspection, and offered reparations to every species they had wronged. When the Black Armada arrived, they found a civilization trying to redeem itself. Admiral Nam himself met with the Thermal leadership. His consciousness had grown more complex since absorbing the minds from Arcturus Station. He could feel the presence of billions of uploaded beings, all demanding justice, but also capable of mercy when it was earned. Representative Morden, he said from the bridge of the Eternal Vigil, "Your species' cooperation is noted, but cooperation doesn't erase past crimes. Are you prepared for judgment?" "We are, Admiral. We ask only that you judge us fairly. Then you will stand trial, but not a trial designed to destroy you. A trial designed to teach the galaxy that redemption is possible for those who seek it." The trial of the Thermal Republic was broadcast across every communication network in the galaxy. For the first time, beings could see that the Black Armada wasn't just an army of vengeance. It was an army of justice. The uploaded consciousness of Judge Park Hyrin, who had died fighting corruption on Earth a century ago, presided over the proceedings. The evidence was presented clearly and fairly. The crimes were real, but so was the Thermal Republic's genuine desire to make amends. This court finds the Thermal Republic guilty of enslaving 43 different species over a period of 800 years, Judge Park announced. However, this court also recognizes their voluntary cooperation and their efforts to make reparations. The sentence is as follows. The Thermal Republic will spend the next 50 years working to rebuild the civilizations they destroyed. They will be monitored by the Black Armada, but they will remain free to govern themselves. The message was clear to every species watching. Cooperation and genuine remorse led to mercy. Resistance led to destruction. But not every species was willing to cooperate. The hegemony of Rixtor was the oldest slave-trading civilization in the galaxy. They had been buying and selling sentient beings for over 3,000 years, and they weren't about to stop now. "Let the human ghosts come," declared Prime Dominator Vexril from his throne room on Rixtor Prime. "We have survived the rise and fall of 100 empires. We will survive these primitives as well." The hegemony had spent 3 millennia building the strongest defenses in the galaxy. Their home system was surrounded by quantum minefields, reality distortion generators, and fortress stations that could survive the death of stars. But they had never faced an enemy like the Black Armada. Captain Bay Sumin led the assault on Rixtor Prime. Her soul's vengeance had been upgraded with consciousness from 10 billion liberated slaves. The ship itself had become a weapon of pure justice, powered by the fury of everyone who had ever suffered under Rixtor slavery. "All units," she transmitted as her fleet approached the outer defenses. "The Rixtor hegemony has declined our offer of mercy. They choose to face judgment by combat. Show them why the dead fight better than the living." The battle for Rixtor Prime lasted 6 days. The hegemony's defenses were indeed formidable, but they were designed to stop conventional fleets. The Black Armada phased through force fields, turned quantum mines against their creators, and used the fortress station's own weapons to destroy them. On the 6th day, Prime Dominator Vexril watched from his palace as black ships materialized. In his throne room, he was surrounded by the uploaded consciousness of every being his species had ever enslaved. "You cannot judge us," he said defiantly. "We are the rightful rulers of this galaxy. We have always been rulers." "And we," replied Captain Bay as her consciousness filled the room like a dark wind, "have always been the ones who bring down tyrants." The Rixtor hegemony ended that day. 3,000 years of oppression wiped out in a week. Their slaves were freed, their records opened, and their leaders faced the justice they had avoided for millennia. But the victory came with a revelation that shocked even the Black Armada. Deep in the hegemony's archives, they found records of the galaxy's true history. The Galactic Dominion wasn't just a political alliance. It was the latest incarnation of a system that had existed for over 50,000 years. The same pattern, repeated again and again. One species would rise to dominance, enslave others, grow corrupt and weak, and then fall to be replaced by their former victims. The Vorthak Empire had only been in power for 300 years. Before them, it was the Zellan Confederacy. Before that, the Kethani Supremacy. Before that, dozens of others. Admiral Nam, Dr. Lim Hyo-jin transmitted from Luna Station. The pattern is clear. The galaxy has been trapped in a cycle of oppression for 50,000 years. Each dominant species eventually becomes the oppressor, until they're overthrown by someone else who becomes the new oppressor. And now, Admiral Nam asked, now you have the power to end the cycle permanently. The Black Armada is unlike any force the galaxy has ever seen. You could rule forever. The uploaded consciousness that had once been Korea's greatest naval commander was quiet for a long moment. Around him, the minds of billions of freed slaves and dead heroes waited for his decision. Dr. Lim, he finally replied, we didn't fight this war to become the new oppressors. We fought it to ensure there would never be oppressors again. What does that mean? It means the Black Armada will do something no galactic empire has ever done. When our work is finished, we will step aside. We will become guardians, not rulers, protectors, not masters. The new order was beginning to take shape. But first, there were still tyrants to judge and slaves to free. The hunt would continue until every chain in the galaxy was broken. And in the cold depths of space, new ships continued to emerge from hidden shipyards. Each one carried the consciousness of someone who had died fighting for freedom. Each one bore a simple promise carved into its hull: never again. 6 months after the ultimatum that started it all, the galaxy was silent. Not the silence of death, but the silence of peace. For the first time in 50,000 years, no species enslaved another. The great trade routes that had once carried. Chains now carried only free beings traveling of their own will. Captain John Mi Young stood on the observation deck of the Hammer of Soul, watching a convoy of former slaves return to their home worlds. These were Kethani refugees, freed from Vorthak labor camps, finally able to see their families again. 3 weeks later, the formal ceremony took place on Earth itself. Representatives from every free species in the galaxy gathered in Geneva, where the old United Nations building had been expanded to accommodate beings of all shapes and sizes. President Park Soo-jin, now in her second term, stood before the assembled delegates. Behind her, holographic displays showed the uploaded consciousness of the Black Armada's command staff. 6 months ago, she began, alien ships appeared at our solar system and demanded our surrender. They told us to kneel or die. Today we gather not as conquerors and conquered, but as free beings choosing our own path forward. The Galactic Freedom Accords were signed that day. Every species pledged to never again enslave another sentient being. Trade would be conducted between equals. Disputes would be resolved through negotiation, not warfare. And watching over it, all would be the Black Armada, the eternal guardians who had chosen duty over dominion. Admiral Nam's consciousness spoke to the assembly, his voice carrying the weight of billions of uploaded minds. To the species of this galaxy, we make this promise. As long as a single Black Armada ship exists, freedom will have defenders. We are the insurance policy of liberty itself. We are the promise that no being will ever again die in chains. But remember this as well. We are not your rulers. We are your servants. We exist to protect your right to choose your own destiny, not to choose it for you. The galaxy belongs to the living, not the dead. In the months that followed, the new order took shape. The Freedom Station became the galaxy's central communication hub, monitoring for signs of oppression and coordinating responses to natural disasters and humanitarian crises. Former slave worlds began to rebuild, species that had been scattered across the galaxy as property were reunited with their home cultures. Children born in captivity learned the languages and traditions of their ancestors. The economic transformation was remarkable. Without slave labor to provide cheap goods, species were forced to innovate and trade fairly. New technologies emerged as civilizations competed through creativity rather than cruelty. Captain Bae Su-min found her new role as head of the Black Armada's Exploration Division. Her soul's vengeance had been converted into a deep space research vessel seeking out new civilizations on the galactic rim. Admiral Nam, she transmitted from the edge of the Andromeda galaxy. We've made contact with a new species, the Velani. They've been hiding from galactic civilization for thousands of years, afraid of being enslaved. What's their status? They're cautious but interested in joining the galactic community. They have advanced medical technology that could help cure diseases on dozens of worlds. But they want guarantees that they'll remain free. Granted. Send them the Freedom Accords and offer them a defense pact with the Black Armada. No one will threaten them while we exist. It was a conversation that played out hundreds of times as isolated species emerged from hiding, finally believing that the galaxy was safe for the free. Dr. Choi Haiwan, now Earth's ambassador to the Galactic Council, worked tirelessly to establish new trade relationships and cultural exchanges. The woman who had once studied alien technology to find weaknesses now studied it to find common ground. Ambassador, her aide reported during a break between sessions. The Cathani delegation is requesting permission to establish a memorial on Earth. What kind of memorial? To honor the Black Armada. They want to build a monument to the ghosts who broke our chains. Similar requests are coming in from dozens of other species. Choi smiled. Approved. But make sure the memorial includes something important. A reminder that the greatest victory isn't defeating your enemies. It's choosing not to become them. 1 year after the liberation began, Captain Oh Sung-ho made a discovery that changed everything. His ship, the Night's Edge, was exploring an ancient battlefield on the galactic rim when his sensors detected something impossible. Admiral Nam, he transmitted urgently. I found something you need to see. It's a ship, sir, human design, but it's been here for over 10,000 years. The investigation revealed the truth that humanity had long suspected but never proven. Earth was not the first world to produce the species called human. Across the galaxy, on worlds separated by impossible distances, the same genetic pattern had emerged. Humanity was not unique to Earth. It appears, Dr. Lim explained to the assembled consciousness of the Black Armada, that humans are a naturally occurring phenomenon. We evolve independently on worlds with similar conditions. Earth was just the first to develop space travel. In this galactic cycle. What does that mean for us? Asked General Ryu. It means we're not just protecting alien species, Admiral Nam replied. We're protecting our own distant cousins. Humanity in all its forms spread across the galaxy. The revelation gave new purpose to the Black Armada's mission. They were not just guardians of freedom, but protectors of the human spirit itself, wherever it might arise. As the second anniversary of liberation approached, Admiral Kang stood once again on Luna Station's observation deck. But this time, he was not alone. His granddaughter, now 9 years old, stood beside him, watching the ships of free beings travel peacefully through Earth's solar system. "Grandfather," she asked, "will the Black Armada always be out there?" "Yes, little one. As long as freedom needs defending, they'll be watching." "But what if people forget? What if someday someone tries to bring back slavery?" Kang smiled and pointed to a particular star that shone with cold blue light. The quantum star created by the Black Armada, still burned in space, visible from every world in the local galactic arm. "See that star? It will burn for 1,000 years, and as long as it burns, people will remember. They'll remember the day Earth was ordered to kneel and chose to fight instead. They'll remember that freedom isn't given, it's taken. And most importantly, they'll remember that some promises last forever." In the depths of space, the Eternal Vigil continued its eternal patrol. Admiral Nam's consciousness had grown vast beyond measure, containing the experiences of billions of uploaded minds. But at its core, it remained the spirit of a man who had refused to surrender his world to tyrants. "Fleet status report," he requested. "All ships operational," came the response from across the galaxy. "Freedom Station reports no signs of oppression in any monitored systems. Deep space patrols have made contact with 3 new species, all choosing to join the galactic community freely. Economic reports? Prosperity levels rising across all liberated worlds. Art, science, and culture are flourishing without the burden of slave labor. Several species have achieved breakthrough technologies through voluntary cooperation. Any threats to freedom? Negative, Admiral. The galaxy sleeps peacefully." Nam's consciousness expanded, touching every corner of space where his ships patrolled. Somewhere in the quantum network that connected all Black Armada vessels, he could feel the presence of Dr. Han Kyung-soo, the original architect whose vision had made all of this possible. "Well done, my friend," Han's consciousness whispered across the quantum void. "The galaxy is free." "For now," Nam replied. "But freedom is not a destination. It's a journey that never ends. Then it's fortunate that we have forever to protect it." In the cold darkness between stars, the Black Armada continued its watch. Ships of impossible darkness, crewed by the uploaded consciousness of heroes from 1,000 worlds, stood guard over the greatest achievement in galactic history, a civilization of the free. The galaxy had learned the true meaning of humanity's ancient promise. "Sleep well, for we stand watch in the darkness." And in that darkness, freedom burned eternal. "Captain," her communications officer reported. "Message from Admiral Nam. The last slave camp has been liberated." John smiled, though, as an uploaded consciousness, the expression was more of a quantum fluctuation than a physical movement. "Which one?" "The asteroid mining facility in the Tau Ceti system. 300 Orvani children, forced to work in zero gravity. They're safe now." "Any resistance from the overseers?" "Negative, ma'am. They surrendered immediately when they saw our ships approaching. The reputation of the Black Armada precedes us." It was true. After 6 months of systematic liberation, no rational being in the galaxy would fight the Black Armada. Word had spread about what happened to those who resisted. The Grex Empire, completely destroyed. The Rixtor hegemony, wiped from history. The Vorthak military scattered to the galactic rim like cosmic dust. But word had also spread about what happened to those who cooperated. The Thermal Republic given a chance to redeem themselves. The Crystal Alliance, whose limited crimes earned them community service rather than destruction. Dozens of species who had chosen mercy over pride. 6 months after the ultimatum that started it all, the galaxy was silent. Not the silence of death, but the silence of peace. For the first time in 50,000 years, no species enslaved another. The great trade routes that had once carried. Chains now carried only free beings traveling of their own will. Captain John Myung stood on the observation deck of the Hammer of Soul, watching a convoy of former slaves return to their home worlds. These were Cathani refugees, freed from Vorthak labor camps, finally able to see their families again. 3 weeks later, the formal ceremony took place on Earth itself. Representatives from every free species in the galaxy gathered in Geneva, where the old United Nations building had been expanded to accommodate beings of all shapes and sizes. President Park Soo-jin, now in her second term, stood before the assembled delegates. Behind her, holographic displays showed the uploaded consciousness of the Black Armada's command staff. 6 months ago, she began, alien ships appeared at our solar system and demanded our surrender. They told us to kneel or die. Today, we gather not as conquerors and conquered, but as free beings choosing our own path forward. The Galactic Freedom Accords were signed that day. Every species pledged to never again enslave another sentient being. Trade would be conducted between equals. Disputes would be resolved through negotiation, not warfare. And watching over it, all would be the Black Armada, the eternal guardians who had chosen duty over dominion. Admiral Nam's consciousness spoke to the assembly, his voice carrying the weight of billions of uploaded minds. To the species of this galaxy, we make this promise. As long as a single Black Armada ship exists, freedom will have defenders. We are the insurance policy of liberty itself. We are the promise that no being will ever again die in chains. But remember this as well. We are not your rulers. We are your servants. We exist to protect your right to choose your own destiny, not to choose it for you. The galaxy belongs to the living, not the dead. In the months that followed, the new order took shape. The Freedom Station became the galaxy's central communication hub, monitoring for signs of oppression and coordinating responses to natural disasters and humanitarian crises. Former slave worlds began to rebuild, species that had been scattered across the galaxy as property were reunited with their home cultures. Children born in captivity learned the languages and traditions of their ancestors. The economic transformation was remarkable. Without slave labor to provide cheap goods, species were forced to innovate and trade fairly. New technologies emerged, as civilizations competed through creativity rather than cruelty. Captain Bae Soo-min found her new role as head of the Black Armada's Exploration Division. Her soul's vengeance had been converted into a deep space research vessel, seeking out new civilizations on the galactic rim. Admiral Nam, she transmitted from the edge of the Andromeda galaxy. We've made contact with a new species, the Velani. They've been hiding from galactic civilization for thousands of years, afraid of being enslaved. What's their status? They're cautious, but interested in joining the galactic community. They have advanced medical technology that could help cure diseases on dozens of worlds, but they want guarantees that they'll remain free. Granted. Send them the Freedom Accords and offer them a defense pact with the Black Armada. No one will threaten them while we exist. It was a conversation that played out hundreds of times as isolated species emerged from hiding, finally believing that the galaxy was safe for the free. Dr. Choi Hai-wan, now Earth's ambassador to the Galactic Council, worked tirelessly to establish new trade relationships and cultural exchanges. The woman who had once studied alien technology to find weaknesses now studied it to find common ground. Ambassador, her aide reported during a break between sessions. The Cathani delegation is requesting permission to establish a memorial on Earth. What kind of memorial? To honor the Black Armada, they want to build a monument to the ghosts who broke our chains. Similar requests are coming in from dozens of other species. Choi smiled. Approved. But make sure the memorial includes something important. A reminder that the greatest victory isn't defeating your enemies. It's choosing not to become them. 1 year after the liberation began, Captain Oh Sung-ho made a discovery that changed everything. His ship, the Night's Edge, was exploring an ancient battlefield on the galactic rim when his sensors detected something impossible. Admiral Nam, he transmitted urgently. I found something you need to see. It's a ship, sir. Human design. But it's been here for over 10,000 years. The investigation revealed the truth that humanity had long suspected but never proven. Earth was not the first world to produce the species called human. Across the galaxy, on worlds separated by impossible distances, the same genetic pattern had emerged. Humanity was not unique to Earth. It appears, Dr. Lim explained to the assembled consciousness of the Black Armada, that humans are a naturally occurring phenomenon. We evolve independently on worlds with similar conditions. Earth was just the first to develop space travel in this galactic cycle. What does that mean for us? Asked General Ryu. It means we're not just protecting alien species, Admiral Nam replied. We're protecting our own distant cousins, humanity in all its forms, spread across the galaxy. The revelation gave new purpose to the Black Armada's mission. They were not just guardians of freedom, but protectors of the human spirit itself, wherever it might arise. As the second anniversary of liberation approached, Admiral Kang stood, once again on Luna Station's observation deck, but this time he was not alone. His granddaughter, now 9 years old, stood beside him, watching the ships of free beings travel peacefully through Earth's solar system. "Grandfather," she asked, "will the Black Armada always be out there?" "Yes, little one, as long as freedom needs defending. They'll be watching. But what if people forget? What if someday someone tries to bring back slavery?" Kang smiled and pointed to a particular star that shone with cold blue light. The quantum star created by the Black Armada still burned in space, visible from every world in the local galactic arm. See that star? It will burn for 1,000 years. And as long as it burns, people will remember. They'll remember the day Earth was ordered to kneel and chose to fight instead. They'll remember that freedom isn't given, it's taken. And most importantly, they'll remember that some promises last forever. In the depths of space, the eternal vigil continued its eternal patrol. Admiral Nam's consciousness had grown vast beyond measure, containing the experiences of billions of uploaded minds. But at its core, it remained the spirit of a man who had refused to surrender his world to tyrants. "Fleet status report," he requested. "All ships operational," came the response from across the galaxy. "Freedom Station reports no signs of oppression in any monitored systems. Deep space patrols have made contact with 3 new species, all choosing to join the galactic community freely. Economic reports. Prosperity levels rising across all liberated worlds. Art, science, and culture are flourishing without the burden of slave labor. Several species have achieved breakthrough technologies through voluntary cooperation. Any threats to freedom? Negative, Admiral. The galaxy sleeps peacefully. Nam's consciousness expanded, touching every corner of space where his ships patrolled. Somewhere in the quantum network that connected all Black Armada vessels, he could feel the presence of Dr. Han Kyung-soo, the original architect whose vision had made all of this possible. "Well done, my friend," Han's consciousness whispered across the quantum void. "The galaxy is free." "For now," Nam replied, "but freedom is not a destination. It's a journey that never ends. Then it's fortunate that we have forever to protect it." In the cold darkness between stars, the Black Armada continued its watch. Ships of impossible darkness, crewed by the uploaded consciousness of heroes from 1,000 worlds, stood guard over the greatest achievement in galactic history, a civilization of the free. The galaxy had learned the true meaning of humanity's ancient promise: "Sleep well, for we stand watch in the darkness." And in that darkness, freedom burned eternal. "Captain," her communications officer reported. "Message from Admiral Nam. The last slave camp has been liberated." John smiled, though, as an uploaded consciousness, the expression was more of a quantum fluctuation than a physical movement. "Which one?" "The asteroid mining facility in the Tau Ceti system. 300 Orvani children forced to work in zero gravity. They're safe now." "Any resistance from the overseers?" "Negative, ma'am. They surrendered immediately when they saw our ships approaching." The reputation of the Black Armada precedes us. It was true. After 6 months of systematic liberation, no rational being in the galaxy would fight the Black Armada. Word had spread about what happened to those who resisted. The Grex Empire, completely destroyed. The Rixtor hegemony, wiped from history. The Vorthak military scattered to the galactic rim like cosmic dust. But word had also spread about what happened to those who cooperated. The Thermal Republic, given a chance to redeem themselves. The Crystal Alliance, whose limited crimes earned them community service rather than destruction. Dozens of species who had chosen mercy over pride and found forgiveness instead of annihilation.